were also afraid that you wouldn't love them. Why? And the cardinal feather. The cardinals have been hanging out a lot in the past few days. Can I show you where one of them hangs out?
Yeah.
Grandma's having fun. Right here. It just sits and looks at itself in the mirror of my truck and then poops on the side of my truck. Is that funny? What kind of feather is that?
That's a feather.
Chicken feather? What's going on in here, guys? Oh my goodness, everyone's attending the hatching. What'd you find this morning?
Another baby pigeon.
Have another baby pigeon?
Yeah, I knew it was going to hatch though.
Today or soon?
Today. Last night.
And everyone's here for the hatch. Yep, there's one, and the other one maybe hatching as we speak. This is Daddy. This is Daddy, and then the two juveniles who are actually ready to fly soon. We gotta get that set up though.
Yep.
If you're new to our channel, we are a homesteading channel, I guess. A homesteading channel that's been waylaid by a slow motion home renovation because of mold, and now twins in the NICU, which is where we're going now. And I say waylaid, but you know, it's actually not a homesteading channel. This is family life channel, Art and Bree. That's us. We're on our way to the hospital.
Here we go.
Okay, can you run through those numbers with me one more time? Since you started recording...
Since I started recording my pumping, like how long I'm pumping for and how much I'm getting each pumping session, I have pumped for 104... Wait, no, that's not right, is it? Yeah, 104 hours and 6 minutes. I've pumped 73 times, and I've pumped, how many ounces was it?
80.
104 ounces.
Oh, that's incredible.
And that's just that's not since the first day. That was 4 days. I started 4 days after I started pumping. I started logging everything.
That is so much.
Yeah, so how many days is that altogether? 1, 2,
10 days?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days.
That is a long work week. 100-hour work week. That is unreal.
And that's why that's all I do.
Have you thought of going pro?
If I could go pro, I could pump less. I'm going to talk to a lactation consultant probably today or tomorrow about when can I go to pumping every 3 hours and it not affect my supply. I don't know if I have to wait till 6 weeks because that's usually when your supply is established, but I don't know. So I think I'm going to talk to a lactation consultant about when can I pump every 3 hours instead of every 2, because that would be helpful. I could do some other things besides pump, eat, sleep, and hug children.
Wow.
I want to know too how far ahead I am on their needs, on the baby's needs. Like, they don't eat that much. Certainly I'm pretty far ahead. I would think I'd be way ahead on their needs.
Yeah. Well, you're pumping how much every 2 hours?
It depends. Sometimes I get an ounce, sometimes I get 2 ounces. I don't get much still each pumping, but at night I get a lot. You get a lot at night, but I was reading about that, and your prolactin is highest at night and in the morning. That's why you always get so much. Plus I go every 3 hours at night instead of 2.
Yeah. Well, just tell me how many ounces or milliliters are you pumping in a day? You figure that out. I'll figure out how much the babies are using.
It's different every day because it's still going up because I'm still establishing my supply. But I can tell you that, so today is, what's today? Thursday, August 5th?
Yeah.
Okay, so last Sunday, August 1st, I pumped 442 milliliters for the whole day. And then, but yesterday I pumped, so yesterday was August 4th, I pumped 611 milliliters. So it just, every single day it goes up.
So they're currently getting 8 ounces of milk per day.
8 ounces.
240 milliliters a day, currently. But it goes up
altogether or a piece?
altogether, currently. And they'll max out at about 300 milliliters a day. That's 10 ounces a day. They're gonna max out, like on their escalation, at about 10 ounces a day within a week. Because they'll hit there and then they'll slowly creep them up from there.
Okay, so yesterday I pumped 20 and a half ounces and they needed 8 ounces. So that's great. So I should be pretty ahead.
Yeah.
And there was like a day or two, day and a half, where Royal didn't get fed. I mean, he got nutrition, but he didn't get my milk. He didn't get anything in his tummy. He got it through his IV because he wasn't tolerating food in his stomach. And then there was like a day or two where her feeds were like pushed away. Like she was getting just the tiniest little bit. It's very normal for premature babies. Yeah. Where you going? This where you go swimming?
One of the many places.
Interesting.
I'm pretty impressed with what you're doing with milk and the babies. A lot of people, I think, don't even try with twins. I mean, not just with twins. A lot of people provide breast milk for their twins, but in this situation, it's like an uphill battle.
I mean, I think it's just different for every woman. I have nursed 5 babies, so I probably have more confidence and more determination that I can do it. I imagine if you were a first-time mom or a second-time mom and had never pumped or never had a good supply, it would be so discouraging.
Yeah.
So I just think...
You kind of knew what it was going to take, though, out of the gate.
Yeah,
You're just
I knew.
like, I know what this is going to look like. I've done this before.
Like.
I'm going to do this for my babies.
Yeah, and I had to do this for Joyful, actually.
Yeah.
Because I lost my whole milk supply with her after she was born.
Yeah.
Which is a whole long story. And this is actually easier than what I did for her.
Why?
Because I was a second-time mom.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with getting her the milk. And so it was a mentally harrowing journey pumping.
Are you
for
saying
Joyful.
worrying about it less makes it work better?
Yeah, I'm worried about it less. I have a lot more peace, and if I do have to supplement, then I'll supplement.
You've already got a plan for that.
I've already
for
got
like
a plan
long
for
term.
supplementing, if I need to do that, what formula I'll use,
I mean,
stuff like that.
For right now, the NICU doctors have a plan for that.
Yeah.
But you know,
But I have
6
peace
months
about
out,
it.
6 months out, you have a plan if you don't have enough breast milk.
Yeah, with Joyful, it was a devastation, and there was a lot of fear because I had never had to supplement before. I just think it's different. The more kids you have, you just have more confidence as a mom. You have more ability to be flexible. Even in a situation like this that is like so intense and mentally exhausting and physically harrowing, still as a mother, I just have a lot more confidence. So I have a lot of fear with the babies, but with their feeding, I just have less. I'm able to be more flexible.
What's the easy part now?
Yeah, I mean, the pumping takes a lot of work, but I don't feel stressed about it.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. I don't feel obsessed. With Joy, I was obsessed, and I wouldn't even go anywhere, remember?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I have to pump right this second. And now I'm like, if I'm 20 minutes behind pumping, I'm like, okay, I need to pump, but I'm not like crying because I got behind. Anyway, yeah. Let me button my shirt.
We left early.
Yeah, we got here earlier than we expected, so we have a few minutes walking through this trashy poison ivy filled trail in the city.
We're
It's still nice to be in the woods.
But we're still going to get there. We have time still to get there really early from what we've been getting there.
Yeah, what time is it, actually? Something I realized I didn't say is that I actually am super determined, though, to give our babies breast milk, because premature babies do much better on breast milk than on formula. So that's another reason why I'm working so hard, is because I want them to have what they need. And yeah, there are other options, but the breast milk is really what they need more than anything. And I have that as long as I keep pumping like crazy. My supply is still not where it needs to be to provide for both of them in the future. So that's why I'm working so hard, because it's really, even the doctors keep encouraging me, keep telling me to go for it, because they just keep reminding me like this really is better than anything we can provide for them. And so that keeps me going. I want to say one thing about making the milk. I've had a lot of women message me, and even nurses at the hospital, talk about how it took them weeks for their milk to come in. I honestly don't know if I would have had the mental fortitude for that. So there's been I feel like I've had a lot of grace, and that my milk came in pretty quickly, considering, even if it's not a lot yet. One lady messaged me, it took 8 weeks for hers. So I feel like those women are heroes.
In addition to you being afraid that you wouldn't make enough milk for the babies, you were also afraid that you wouldn't love them.
Oh.
Why?
Why was I afraid I wouldn't love the babies? Well, I can tell you that I didn't have that fear until after they were born, because after they were born, I felt literally no emotional connection. Mentally, like my mind knew that I loved them, that I was their mom, and that they were my babies. But for every other one of my children, as soon as they're born, I have an overwhelming emotional, intense connection with them. And that did not happen this time. And I know now that that's from just the trauma and the shock and the drugs, from general anesthesia and from pain medicine. But that first night when I saw them, I was just like, there's 2 tiny babies. Those are my babies. Like, it was really difficult. And then,
for those of us who've never had given birth, tell us what that connection feels like, starting with the birth experience.
have you ever been in love?
I have, once.
Have you ever had like such a huge crush that like you felt like you were going to explode with joy and happiness when you're around that person, or even the thought of them? Or if you've been in love, like you just like are just happy, and like the mere just mention of that person or thought of seeing them later, it's like a physical feeling.
When does that start? When did that start for you when you gave birth to babies vaginally?
As soon as they were born. Before they were born, I love them, but as soon as they're born, for me, there's just this overwhelming physical feeling of love.
Animals have that too.
Mm-hmm. So I was pretty overwhelmed that first day after surgery, because I was not feeling that. I know now that it's because that first day after surgery, I wasn't given the appropriate pain medication. I was just given ibuprofen and Tylenol, and I was in a lot of pain. And I was like mentally so overwhelmed, but at the time, I didn't know that. I just thought, oh no, like, I don't feel connected to them at all. It didn't change how I was treating them or how I was approaching them, because I'm an adult, and so I knew what they needed and gave it to them. But the next day, well, my night nurse that night was like, you're in a ton of pain, let's fix that. And it was like, once I had my pain managed, that connection came pretty quickly. So I was thankful for that. And then of course, once I held them, oh my goodness, as soon as I felt them on my chest, and it was like there was an aching in me for that first 3 days plus. There was an ache in me that felt like an emptiness because I didn't have my babies. Sorry, mosquito. And as soon as I held them, like felt them, it was like it all came. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Like it literally just that overwhelming, that thing that happens at birth for me, it came. And so I've heard a lot of women, you know, in all these, I read a lot about birth and postpartum and stuff. I always have. I just think it's amazing. But there's a big conversation about this in the postpartum talk about, you know, how some women don't feel that. And I never understood it. I didn't judge, but I didn't understand. And now I understand. I think that traumatic birth, it can take some time for that to come. So, I mean, Joy's birth was really traumatic too, but I held her right away. So it's just different, I think. I'm just glad it's there. I'm glad my milk is coming. I'm glad I'm not still fighting with those things. I feel like there's so much grace and mercy on our lives and on our children's lives. So, we're here. Time to go see babies.
The big news today is this lovely lady is off of all of her IV nutrition support. Oh my, she's so pretty. So she's solely dependent on breast milk now, fortified breast milk, and has 0 IV lines. So that's a big step forward. And this guy is not far behind. He's doing awesome. He's just not quite there yet. He's still getting some TPN through his IV, and he's just a little bit behind. They had to go slower on advancing his milk intake. This beautiful boy is requiring a little more support, and although I'm laying hands on him today, I'm not going to pick him up. He got held for a long time yesterday. It was lovely. So we're hanging out and singing songs today. But he's just in a perfect little resting position there. We're going to let him lie for now. Every time we leave, it's like we're forgetting something every single time.
I said we are so lucky to have the families and the friends that we have.
Why are you saying that?
Because, like, we have 24-hour care if we need it.
Yeah.
7 days a week right now. We hardly make any food or clean up. Literally, everyone is just letting us love on our big kids and take care of our babies.
I don't know how we do it otherwise.
We figured out, I mean, that, like, we wouldn't get to see the babies as much. We wouldn't be with the kids as much.
I feel really blessed. I don't have to run back to work right away now, too. I'd have to be going back to work. I mean, I could take some, like, FMLA or something, but I'd have to end up back at work.
Yeah.
Because unless I had a bunch of vacation time saved up, which I always did.
Yeah, you always had 6 weeks, but, like, when the babies come home from the hospital, that's going to be a whole
That's like the birth experience. Almost.
That's like the real postpartum. So, I'm just, every day I'm just like amazed at our families and our friends, but, you know, we just are really blessed. Not everyone has that. A lot of people don't have that.
I know actually most people who've asked, and I'm not talking about people online, I'm talking about people we actually know, face to face. Most people who have asked, we've said, like, no, we don't need anything right now.
Yeah, we've asked people to wait 2 weeks.
I mean, dozens of people have offered me to do anything with me. Show up and, like, pray with me, to, like, bring me stuff, meet with me, bring us a meal, watch the kids. Mm-hmm. Tons of people have offered.
I know. It's amazing. I just hope they still offer in 2 weeks, because that's when we're going to need help still. And our moms are going to be too tired. They're going to need a break. So,
That is one of the challenges of things like this in life, is that you're still going through it and other people. It kind of fades in other people. The shock and stuff fades for other people. So like in 2 months, I can imagine running into someone and they're like, "Oh, your baby's still in the NICU?" It's like
That's just the natural course of things.
it's like 11 o'clock and I just hit a wall this evening. I think I've been asleep 4 times. 4 times already. Like putting the baby to bed, tucking the boys in, on the couch, tucking the boys in again. Everywhere I've been, I've fallen asleep. Brianna is battling one of the pitfalls that we forgot about, but here it is, which is a clogged milk duct, which is, I don't care if that's too much information, that what that means is a clogged milk, it means exactly what it sounds like. And the risk though is that like if you don't fix a clogged milk duct, which is harder to do without a baby to team up with, you can get mastitis. Mastitis is an infected milk duct. It can be like completely devastating. It can make you very, very sick. So Bree's been working on that for 6 hours now and hurting a lot. So hopefully she can get that clear. Just getting nighttime pumping stuff ready, but I'm lost. Like I don't. So your prayers would be appreciated. And if someone has like a 6-month-old baby that's got a really strong suck, if they could just bring him by for about 15 minutes, that would be really helpful. Maybe an hour. Thank you for considering. Miss Truly is sprawled on the beach, relaxing
in the sunshine. She's getting a tan.
She's out sleeping hard.